freeways just aren't going to recover. I mean, this is going to go well into the afternoon before we see any kind of break on the freeways. Right now, as you can tell, they still have a lot of work to do before all lanes are opened up. We hope a couple lanes get opened up because it'll take off some of the pressure. But if you know somebody who's traveling out on our freeways and they haven't left yet, you might reach out to them and let them know it's going to be a lot tougher than you expect on a lot of freeways, like the 5 northbound, even though this is a southbound incident, on the 134, on the 2 south, on the 101 through Hollywood. It really just crippled everything. It had the ripple effect because it's such a major artery, the southbound 5 traveling towards Elysian Park, down towards the Dodger Stadium, and into downtown. All lanes have been blocked again since 4:30 this morning. It is a major traffic incident that's going to affect tens of thousands of people and waste a lot of time for commuters. There's no question about that. So it's extremely frustrating. We're going to keep this picture up for a while, and that you look at it, we'll give you updates from time to time. But once again, it's not just the 5. And there's SkyMap 7. It just shows you so good exactly where this is. You see the 2 on the right, the 5 on the top of your screen, and how the 2 southbound comes down and merges with the 5 south. And that's where the incident is. You know, before I saw this early this morning, we couldn't get down in here because it was so foggy. I didn't know if the 2 south transition to the 5 south was open. You can tell how close it is to where the transition road is, and it was hard to tell until you get over something like this. It does help a lot that you can take the 2 southbound out of Glendale and then get on the southbound 5. At least that's a transition road that is open. And then that 1 lane you see there, that's the 5 south transition, or collector road, if you would, as you continue southbound. But if this does not open for 2 hours, like they're projecting, any lanes, all lanes are shut down for a couple of hours, then certainly well into the afternoon, you're going to feel the effects of this horrible accident and the delays on the freeways. So, like I said, we'll keep the picture up. We'll try and give you updates from time to time on how the progress is in clearing this. But expect the worst in the San Fernando Valley, through Hollywood, coming out of Glendale, and even on the 5 northbound, traveling up out of East LA, through the heart of downtown in Boyle Heights, up towards the Glendale area. The 5 northbound is a nightmare as well. So it looks like it's going to take some time, but as I mentioned, the sweeper is here. Hopefully the 2 left lanes will give it a little bit of a wider shot. Once that tractor moves out and gets some of that debris out of there, if the sweeper gets in there, hopefully the 2 left will open up, and that would really help a lot. But the projected time is another 2 hours, and that's just going to cause more of a headache for the commuter. So we feel for you. And once again, reach out to the people you know who may be hopping on the freeway. Let them know how bad it is out there. It could be a day, if you live in the San Fernando Valley, to be thinking about, you know, not going to work or calling in and say, I don't want to waste 2 hours on the freeway to get into work. I'll work from home if that's a possibility. So there's a lot of issues like that, and it's certainly going to affect a lot of people. And so if you just heard my report, we've been following this major incident 5 southbound just past the 2 before Stadium Way. And what we're doing is flying around a little bit now. We're showing you the 5 southbound. That's coming out of Griffith Park, out of the San Fernando Valley southbound. We know how bad that is because that's a freeway that's shut down, but we're cutting across Silver Lake. We're headed over into Hollywood. We'll get a glimpse of the 101 freeway. It's pretty hazy this morning, so we can't really see it from here yet. But when I did see the 101 in the San Fernando Valley, it looked very tough, much tougher than normal. Coming through the Coringa Pass and then headed southbound towards downtown. And what we'll have here in a moment is a good look at the 101, really kind of give it to you as a gauge of whether or not the 101 is worth trying as an alternate, or if that's almost as bad as just trying to stick it out on the 5. Once again, even though all lanes are shut down on the 5 freeway southbound there at Stadium Way, there's a collector road that merges with the 2 south to the 5 south transition. So it's really like having 1 lane open on the southbound 5. Just past the 2, and that helps quite a bit, actually. I mean, that's a big break to have 1 lane to be able to get by instead of having people stranded and have to turn them around. And we're coming up on the 101. I don't see too big of an effect on the 101 north because, as I mentioned earlier, the 5 northbound is really a disaster. There's a lot of volume on a normal morning coming north 5 out of East LA up past Dodger Stadium, and all of that volume headed northbound. Everybody just slowed to look at this huge crash. I mean, it's an overturned semi. There's bags of French fries thrown all over the place. You got a couple of trucks in there trying to clean everything up. And the spectators slow down on the 5, back that up all the way out of East LA. Now, we're coming up on the 101 freeway right now, and as you can tell, the 101 freeway is extremely tough, and not even just on the southbound side. The southbound, from right to left, is southbound, and we're gonna make a left turn here and go southbound on the 101 towards the downtown. You can see how bad it is. That 101 northbound slows right about there, leaving Vermont, and the 101 north is heavy into the valley. That's taken off some of the pressure from all those folks who are traveling 5 northbound, stuck in those heavy delays that I talked about. But look at how tough the 101 southbound is, and these delays on the 101 south are consistent all the way out up into North Hollywood on the 170 portion of the Hollywood back to Victory Boulevard. So there's really no break. It's that ripple effect. And unfortunately, you take away a major artery like this, and I think it's well into the afternoon before we see any type of recovery. It's just going to get worse and worse. So through the lunchtime hour, you're going to have to deal with this. Maybe by 1, 2 o'clock, things will thin out. I don't believe it'll affect the afternoon rush hour commute, but certainly in the meantime, it is going to really be a struggle. You have to try and be patient. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, if there's any way you're looking at this, you realize how bad it is, and you can get a hold of somebody and say, hey, today's not the day to go. You know, cancel that doctor's appointment, or get a hold of your boss and tell them, I want to work from home today because traffic's so bad. You certainly have a good excuse for that. There's no question, because it's gridlock on just about all the freeways in downtown, on the 5, and up in the San Fernando Valley. So it's going to be a huge struggle. We'll keep the picture up. Where we're at right now is on the 101 freeway southbound on the left side of your screen. That's Echo Park. A little further left, it's pretty hazy, so it's hard to detail much. But that's where Dodger Stadium is, and we're coming up on the 101 south towards the 110. And as I take a look at the shot after seeing patterns of traffic every single day, what is significant is how busy the 101 northbound is. It's always slow on the southbound side, and that sort of got jammed up in the Hollywood area out of the valley, because you get an extra lane once you get past Vermont on the southbound side. That's why I'd open up southbound. But look at the northbound 101. Usually the north 101 breaks up once you pass the 110, which is what we call the 4-level interchange. And then also it's put added pressure on the 110 south, which is to the left side of your screen by Dodger Stadium. And you could tell everybody's just trying to make their way into downtown with that 5 southbound completely closed. It's a struggle. It's even slow on the northbound side of the 110. So we really have some big issues into downtown Los Angeles, in the San Fernando Valley. And of course, it's all dependent upon, as far as clearing is concerned, and some of these delays dissipating, on when they actually clear the southbound 5 there, just past the 2, right before Stadium Way, as you head into Elysian Park. So we're going to keep the shot up. We sort of made a loop right to the left side, showing Marcel's Dodger Stadium. Go Dodgers. You know, I checked this morning. I think the Dodgers have the best record in baseball, if I'm not mistaken, by like a game over the Yankees, and that's incredible. So we're just angling around. We're over the 110, and then as we sort of move a little bit further to the north and to the almost due north at this point, up towards Glendale, that's when you're going to see the 5 southbound. The incident, once again, is 5 south, just past the 2, or right before Stadium Way as you travel down towards Elysian Park. And it's just a struggle for so many people. I mean, traffic in LA is bad enough without an incident like this, and then you throw something like this onto it, and you just have tens of thousands of wasted hours for people on the freeway, tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of thousands of people who are actually affected by this. So it's going to be a struggle for some time. We'll go ahead and push on into the incident. And when I looked at it earlier, about 15 to 20 minutes ago, we got an update that all lanes of the 5 south past the 2, the incident that we're pushing into and you're looking at right now, would be shut down for 2 hours. And that very well could be the case. But from experience, you know, looking at these accidents over the years, I know CHP wants to get traffic moving. And the sweeper's already here. The backhoe needs to move around, but I have a feeling they'll open up the 2 left lanes before that 2-hour mark, maybe within an hour or so. And that certainly would help things out quite a bit. But with the complete closure of the 5 south, you know, expect the worst. Pack your patience, if you will, that old statement, because a lot of freeways are really, really struggling, and it's going to be some time before we start to see better speeds. I mean, you don't want to be in the south 5. You're down to just 1 lane. Tilt up a little bit, Marcel. And look at that. I mean, it's just at a standstill. You imagine, you've been in it before. You live in LA. You know how frustrating it is. And it's just one of those mornings. If there's anything you can do to avoid the freeways and heading into downtown, even though it's a southbound incident, even from the north into downtown, today's the day to try and do that, because it's really a struggle. It's a nightmare on a lot of those freeways out there. So we'll keep the picture up for you. We'll try and narrate it from time to time to let you know what's going on here. But it just crippled everything, this big accident that happened at 4:30 this morning. Down on the 134, we'll do the same thing. All right, if you're back with us again, I just sort of narrated what's going on. If you just joined us, it's a major ABC7 traffic alert on the 5 freeway southbound just past the 2 before Stadium Way. If you travel down in Elysian Park, this happened about 4:30 this morning. It was a semi had overturned, smashed in many pieces. It's been very difficult for them to really try and clear the scene. The biggest issue for clearing it, though, was the fuel spill, the hazmat situation. That's why you see all the absorbent down. They're right now just picking up pieces of that semi. It's been going on for so long, as I mentioned, since 4:30 this morning. And a moment ago, we went into Hollywood and showed you how bad the Hollywood freeway was and the 110 in downtown. We're going to go northbound on the 5 now and show you the 5 southbound as you head basically out of the San Fernando Valley and you head down into downtown. Now, even though you're seeing the South 5, just remember the northbound 5 is a nightmare out of East LA. I didn't see it past East LA. It may even be affecting the Santa Ana North, coming out of Commerce into downtown. It wouldn't surprise me if it is. But you don't want to be on this, no matter what. If you know somebody who drives into downtown, especially out of the San Fernando Valley, reach out to them. Because once you're stuck in this, once you get to a certain point, there's not much you can do. Once you get past, say, the Silver Lake off-ramp here, Los Feliz, once you get past that point, there's nothing you could do except for funnel down into the 1-lane transition road. It's a collector road on the 5 South that merges with the 2 South transition. That's it. So once you're stuck on this 5 southbound, you don't have a lot of options. And, you know, this drive right here that I'm looking at could take well over an hour. Could take maybe close to 2 hours from Colorado and Glendale down to the 2. Now, you do have an option to take the 134 to the 2 South because the 2 lanes of that transition, South 2 to the 5 South, they are open. But look at how bad this is. This is really, really frustrating if you're stuck in it. And so the biggest option besides what I gave you, the 134 to the 2 South, the detour for this would be the 101 South through Hollywood into downtown. And we sort of flew around that way on the last update that we gave you, and we showed you how bad the 101 southbound is out of Hollywood into downtown. And it's even slow out of the San Fernando Valley. It's slowed on the 170 portion in North Hollywood from before Victory Boulevard. Much tougher than normal. It's that way through the Cahuenga Pass all the way into downtown, but it's still better than this. The 101 southbound is a much better option than the southbound side of the 5. So keep that in mind. I just did.